10 o'clock.
I'm usually not that guy.
I have my moments.
I got 1 minute.
It's not 10 o'clock.
Oh, well, it is. See, on the phones it's 10:01. That's slow.
That's right. All right, ready?
Yeah, that's slow.
Keeping both of us?
That's what I'm good at.
Good morning. I would like to call to order the Pasco Board of County Commissioners 10 o'clock meeting on October 11th, 2022. At this time, silence all electronic devices and mute your microphones. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
O merciful Creator, your hand is open wide to satisfy the needs of every living creature. Make us thankful for your loving providence and grant that we, remembering the account that we must one day give, may be faithful stewards of your good gifts. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Here.
District 2, Commissioner Moore.
Here.
District 4, Commissioner Fitzpatrick. District 5, Commissioner Mariano.
Here.
And District 3, Chairman Starkey.
Okay. Now is the time for public comment. Citizens are given an opportunity to comment on any current or future agenda board item coming before the board and on any other business under the board's purview. Today's public comment will be handled as follows. First, we will take the public comment for those who are here in person. Then we will take public comment for those who are pre-registered for a WebEx link and are currently on queue. We request that when you address the board, comments are not directed personally against a commissioner or team member, but rather directed at the issues. This provides mutual respect between the board members and the public. After stating your name and address for the clerk, a 3-minute timer will be activated. After 2 minutes, a single beep will indicate you have 1 minute left. When your time is up, 2 beeps will sound, and you should close your comments. WebEx participants will be disconnected automatically when their time is up. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
Yes, we have 5 individuals. We'll start with Anita McCracken, Nancy Hazelwood, followed by Mario, is it Orielon? I don't know, sorry, probably killed that one.
Okay, Anita?
Hello, I'm Anita McCracken. I'm a realtor in Pasco County. I have a listing that went under contract in Hudson. It's a mobile home on a half an acre. During the title search, we found that she had $160,000, in excess of $160,000 in fines through Pasco County for After questioning her on it, I found out that in 2019, someone turned her in for several structures. So someone named Christopher Maine came out and told her what she needed to do to correct them. She did everything she was supposed to do. She got all the drawings signed and sealed by an architect. She went into the county, she paid all her fees, turned everything in. She was told by the person at the desk that she was all set. So 3 years later, we go to sell her house, and she doesn't realize that she has over $160,000 in fines. She's been being fined $150 a day without any communication from the county. No emails, no certified letters, nothing. So the lady is 58 or 68 years old. She doesn't really use a computer, barely can email. And now her life savings is tied up in the liens on her home. So we're trying to figure out how to remedy this. She has called the county multiple times, the permitting department. She's left messages for somebody named T. Connolly 4 times within 2 weeks without any phone calls. Christopher Maine has been contacted several times by her, finally getting back to her with an email. I've called Christopher Maine trying to figure out how to remedy this. Do we need to re-permit the items? Do we need to move the items? Do we need to do something to get this taken care of? He has not returned my phone calls or emails. We just feel like we're being ignored while being fined $150 a day. So I'm here today to try to figure out what we need to do to get this taken care of, to get the permits reopened, to do something. I did find out from permitting that the reason they kicked it back, which they didn't tell her that they kicked it back, was that there was 2 structures within the setbacks, a half a foot within the setbacks. So we did find that out, but we don't know what to do about it, and we don't know how to remedy this. So that's why I'm here today, hopefully to get some answers. Thank you.
Okay, and Sally Sherman's right there. She'll talk with you, and then you can work that through. Thanks for making the drive over, Anita.
Nancy Hazelwood.
Good morning, Nancy Hazelwood, 34110 A Nice Place, Dade City, Florida. First off, I want to thank the Pasco County government for the superior job they did during the hurricane. I noticed we have all the firefighters here, and of course they're part of that. Without Pasco County working all together, we couldn't have done what we did, so y'all did a marvelous job. And I heard that Mr. Mariana, you were out walking around during the hurricane. Was everybody out there walking around during the hurricane?
Not during the hurricane.
All right, so I'm here to talk about Dade City. I've been to a lot of Dade City Council meetings this year. I'm really not a fan. They just happen to be annexing by the Northeast Rural area, and they've even taken up the transition area. So I'm here to do a bit of complaining about them. Dade City says there is no Dade City transition area, yet I remember working on this long time ago when we were working on the Northeast Rural Area Plan. And if you look at documents for a place called Citrus Ridge, and now there's one on the same places today, it's called St. Joe Project 1 at the corner of Ramsey and St. Joe. They say there is no transition area. So in Citrus Ridge, if you read the documents before that happened about 10 years ago, the county and the city agree there is a transition area. There is no doubt in anybody's mind. So I would ask that a staff-initiated Dade City transition area be adopted, since we don't have one and they aren't listening. Also, Dade City does not seem to take into account the Dade City interlocal agreement with the county seriously at all. In fact, I've heard their lawyers say they don't have to inform the county of their annexations. I would ask that the board give some attention to this matter. Dade City hasn't been doing things quite right, it looks like to me. Perhaps request transcripts from the city council meetings of St. Joe 2. Don't take my word for it. See what they've been doing yourself, and maybe straighten out your annexation plan. Thank you all very much for listening, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Mauro Oriana.
It took me by surprise.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mauro Oriana, owner of Mauro's Air Conditioning, operating on 10217 Kean Trail, Hudson, Florida. I received a citation on October 5th for conducting a business in a residential agriculture zone, which I totally respect that. I did apply for a permit. My GC applied for a permit on March of 2021, so it's been going on basically 2 years. So I already paid for the land, commercial land, in industrial park, paid so far over $60,000 between grouting the land because it was a little soft and everything, engineers, civil engineers, architects and everything else. We still don't have a permit. For the last year, we've been told every week that we call, it's gonna be just a couple more days, couple more weeks. Nothing gets done. I said, right now we are turning in paperwork that they received 8 months ago. So between the land and all the other expenses, I spent about $250,000. Okay, and at this point I'm getting a citation for conducting the business when I'm trying to do the right thing. I employ about 12 people, 12 families I have to feed. So I said right now I'm being threatened to close the business. We're probably the only air conditioning company in Florida that has, or at least in Pasco County, that has 5-star reviews, true reviews only. Okay, 5 stars. We live by that. So we're trying to do the right thing, trying to better ourselves, trying to do it right. Pasco County permitting is holding me from moving on and grow my business. So the new building is designed to be almost 6,300 square feet, okay? It's not gonna be a metal building, it's gonna be a concrete block building, okay? So to build the structure, to do it right. So all I'm asking to please help me come up with a resolution to resolve this. As a good citizen, we're trying to do the right thing. Thank you.
Ms. Rowe, before you go, and just think about this, a year and a half in an industrial park trying to get a permit. Mark Bellis, would you mind working with Mr. Morrow, and as soon as Sally's done with the previous one, that you can have that conversation with her? Yes, sir. All right?
Thank you so much.
The next two speakers, Margaret Woods, followed by Patricia Porter.
Good morning, I'm Margaret Woods. I live at 36332 St. Joe Road, Dade City, Florida. I'm actually out in the county, although my address is Dade City. Ms. Hazelwood already mentioned to you about the interlocal annexation agreement. I want to talk a little bit about that because we've been having a lot of trouble with the city following the rules that are in that annexation agreement. In 2005, there was an annexation agreement that was formed between the city and the county, and it followed a lawsuit on a piece of property. The county lost that lawsuit, but because of it, they got with the city and formed an annexation agreement. That annexation agreement also showed a boundary. Now, that's usually property that's surrounding the city. The city has been annexing like crazy, and the problem is the property is in the annexation boundaries for the most part, but they're not following the annexation agreement. And one of those things in the agreement is that except as provided herein, the city hereby agrees to not designate any property annexed at a density or intensity higher than its Pasco County comprehensive plan future land use map designation at the time of the annexation. But the city has not been following that. The city has been taking land that was Res 3, meaning land that was designated for 0 to 3 homes per acre, and changing it to their MDR, which is 4.5 to 10 homes per acre. There's no way that you can show that that is comparable. You can't have 0 to 3 become 4.5 to 10. In addition, if they want to increase the intensity and density, they are to notify the county 45 days before they have their first public hearing. That has not happened many times, and we've notified county planning about it. Occasionally, county planning has sent a letter, and the city has had to back off and plan their meetings a little bit later. But at one case, the county sent a letter, and 7 days later, that letter was rescinded because the head of the planning department stated, oh, it didn't have his signature. There were 2 letters sent out that same date, which was April 7th of 2021 on 2 different developments. Only one was rescinded. The other didn't have his signature either, but it was not rescinded. My second big problem here is that on November 8th, the city will meet on a 2,500 home development called Crosswinds. It's outside of the interlocal annexation agreement. It shouldn't even be annexed because it's not in the agreed upon area for annexation. It's also outside of the utility interlocal agreement with the city and the county. So I would really like for the Board of County Commissioners to be aware that we have this agreement and that it's not being followed, and that I'd like to see them check in to see what the problem is here. And again, the city attorney did tell the city council members that they didn't need to follow this agreement because what was agreed upon at one time didn't have to necessarily be followed later. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to the board?
We have Patricia Porter.
You're going to have to come up here.
Hi, thank you. My name is Patricia Porter. I am here from Lighthouse for Visually Impaired and Blind to accept the proclamation that October 15th is White Cane Awareness Day. The history of white cane is quite short. In
So that's number 3.
Yes, thank you. So I'll come back.
Yeah, you don't need to come up to the mic.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right, is there anyone else here who wishes to speak to the board this morning? Do we have anyone online?
We do. We have Betty Holden online. No? They dropped? Okay. Okay, nope, no one's online.
Okay. Sorry for being late, but they totally stopped traffic on 52. I'll send this one in a second. And we are now to the consent.
You're now
You do
to
resolutions.
resolution.
Oh, resolution, sorry.
That's why we
I'll
assign
do
these.
these. 1.
That's on 11 a.m. time certain.
Okay, the next one then. I don't have the white. Thank you. Where's my?
Two,
RS2.
She stated the.
fire prevention.
Here we go.
You all knew what to do.
Signed after me. Okay, thank you. Turn off my phone so it doesn't ring.
Okay. I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution number 23-0002, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, declaring October 9th through October 15th as Fire Prevention Week in Pasco County. Whereas since the organization of the first fire departments during our nation's infancy, firefighters have maintained their dedication to protecting the health and safety of the public. And whereas the Pasco County Board of County Commissioners is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Pasco County. And whereas during Fire Prevention Week, we can honor the brave firefighters first responders who risk their lives to protect our community and reaffirm the importance of fire safety and preparedness. And whereas in 2021, home fires caused 2,580 civilian deaths in the United States, according to the National Fire Protection Association. In that same year, Pasco County Fire Rescue responded to 813 residential fires. And whereas Pasco County Fire Rescue is dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through fire prevention education. And whereas a key element of Pasco County Fire Rescue's fire prevention education is the importance of having smoke alarms installed in the home. And whereas smoke alarms are critical elements of fire safety that have helped significantly decrease United States home fire deaths over the last 40 years. And whereas smoke alarms can increase, Whereas smoke alarms can sense smoke well before you can and will alert you to a danger in which you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape from safely. And whereas Pasco County residents should ensure everyone in the home understands the sounds of smoke alarms and know how to respond when alerted to fire. And whereas Pasco County residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas Pasco County residents who are responsive to public education measures are better able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas during Fire Prevention Week, citizens of Pasco County are called to educate themselves about fire safety and commit to taking all necessary steps to prevent and prepare for fires. And whereas in 2022, Fire Prevention Week themed Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape effectively serves to remind Pasco County residents of the importance of having a home fire escape plan. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby declares October 9th through October 15th as Fire Prevention Week in Pasco County and urges all residents to plan and practice a home fire escape plan and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of the Pasco County Fire Rescue. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 11th day of October 2022.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Well, good morning. And Mike, I just sent you a picture, if you could put it up there. I actually visited a fire station in another state last week, and I took a picture with the guys out front, so I was going to show that to you. Welcome. This is such an important resolution, and we are very grateful for all you do for the county, and I know every commissioner is going to want to say something, but why don't you go ahead and address this.
On behalf of the Division of Community Risk, the entire organization, because it truly takes a tribe, and that's support from the Commission, County Administration, other departments, the Building Construction Services, County Attorney's Office, they've all been instrumental in our success. With the gear and the direction of public education, 5 years ago we didn't have a pub ed program within our organization. Since then we've expanded the division. We have two full-time public educators, an entire team that supports them. We launched off this year's the 100th anniversary of Fire Prevention Week. It's the longest public safety campaign in the United States running. We launched off with an open house on Sunday, and we had our entire team volunteering on their day off to kick that off with an open house at Station 23 in Lena Lakes. very successful. Over 500 community members came through. We got rid of a lot of hot dogs and popcorn. Another portion of our mission through public education is our inspections, all the way down through code and compliance. We've been very successful. Last year, we brought a business plan initiative to you to expand the division by 9 inspectors. We've fulfilled all those positions. Many of the new ones are with us here today.
Nice.
We've been very successful in that initiative. To date, since we've launched that, we've inspected over 5,000 commercial occupancies throughout the county, and that's generated over $500,000 revenue to sustain that to where we're not having to bear on any taxpayer funding. So that's been very successful. And then again, our county ordinance code and compliance, since we've moved forward with that initiative of gaining compliance through county ordinance citation, we've generated over $200,000 in direct punitive damages that fund our public messaging in that campaign. That's afforded us opportunities to buy equipment, swag, a bounce house, some upgraded 360 camera equipment for our investigations unit, a Bullets extinguishing prop system. So all in all, with the support of all the departments across the county, we're moving where we should be, and we thank you all for the support.
Thank you very much. Commissioners?
Yep.
Go ahead, Commissioner Oakley.
Thank you for being here today. I certainly appreciate everything you do for the citizens in Pasco, and we know you work hard, and we continue to support you and try to make things better for you every day. With new fire stations, new equipment, whatever we can do, we will support you to do the best job you can do. So I know the citizens of Pasco County appreciate you being there, and especially those times of need, they definitely appreciate you being there. So thank you.
Commissioner Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Now I'm going to ask a question. This may not be the right time, but since you brought it up.
Here we go.
And I was going to bring it up. No, I was going to bring it up during possibly miscellaneous business, but you mentioned, the BIP that we did last year.
Correct.
Initiative to add more fire inspectors, which is great, obviously, as a growing county, how fast we're growing. One of the things I know they do over in Tampa, because one of my good friends is an inspector over there, is they also have an expedited process where they do some stuff on nights and weekends. And that's on a more of a volunteer basis, if inspectors wanted to do this. But obviously those people pay for it. They may pay 2 to 3 times as much to do it because the inspectors will get double time, right? Because it's their after hours time, past the regular hours of work. Has we ever thought about that or had that conversation?
So we do have that in place with BCS on new construction permitting. There is an option for expedited review to get that permitting process, and that covers all disciplines, all trades throughout BCS, whether mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire inspection. So we have a complement that is tied directly with Ms. Esther, the building official, and her team, and through the application process, that is a current process that's in place where they can't opt expedited review. They do have to pay for it, but it does take them out of the queue and bring them to the top of the list and affords overtime to the plans examiners to complete it, hopefully day of. In addition to that, with the additional positions, we've also implemented Firewatch and had the capabilities to enforce that as well as provide that at a paid for service by the customer or the applicant. Nights and weekends. The expansion of the investigation side, as far as our annual inspections, we also utilize those resources for after-hour events, nights, weekends. They're on 24/7. So we utilize them after hours for some of our businesses that aren't open typically during the Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and then our weekend establishments, attractions, as well as special use and details.
Great. Well, I learned something today. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Good.
Since you mentioned fire investigation, I have a question because you probably know this, but I have had 2 mobile homes burn on Buena Vista Lane. One we got to get in there and clean it up. It's looking pretty bad. But I just wondered if you all thought maybe something might be going on.
So we are fortunate to have the shift-bound fire investigators. Every fire that occurs in Pasco County, whether it be residential structure, commercial, dumpster, vehicle, wildland fire, every fire that occurs in Pasco County does have an origin and cause investigation completed by one of our staff. And then they utilize any identifying themes, whether we work with the sheriff's office because it may be criminal nature, it may be something that we could address through public education, out of malice or poor housekeeping, improper disposal of lit items. Youth Fire Setter Program has been very successful in their campaign by the ladies. So we do identify the themes, and any outliers, they work with public education to see where we could interject some reprieve to that.
So if you've uncovered anything, I'd be interested to know on those mobile homes that are burning in that area.
And Madam Chair, what street was that again?
It's Buena Vista.
Buena
Lane,
Vista.
And in the last 6 months, I've had 2, all on the same side, on the left-hand side, so.
I will certainly look into that, and we could provide that to you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
I would just like to say thank you for all of your hard work and your dedication to Pasco County and to all of our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Madam Chair, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to thank all of you. Your whole team has been phenomenal over the years. I think how far fire prevention has gone in Pasco County. I think you can see our commitment to giving you a quality place to live as you're working, giving you all the tools. And I know the citizens have greatly appreciated, evidenced by the vote to keep supporting all your efforts and your endeavors. So thank you all very much for your service.
Thank you, sir. And one last thing, Commission, to the extent of the expansion of our division, we've gone to 30 in the last few years, and that afforded us the opportunity to assist with a hurricane deployment down south. We had 7 inspectors that we sent this morning to help get their businesses back inspected and reopened. So without the internal personnel resources to cover the needs of the county, we never would have been in a position to afford our friends in the south those resources this morning.
And I want to thank you for that. And I tell you, with your help down there and our sheriff's office being down there, it really made a difference for them to get their
yeah. So we've been successful with 2 strike forces. We had an ambulance detail and then a technical rescue detail that have already gone down and returned. And then this morning we sent a team of inspectors down to assist to try and get some of those businesses reopened.
Well, I tell you, they greatly appreciate it as well. I talked to the Lee County Sheriff representative down there, just working with Pasco sheriffs down there, and they were so appreciative of everything we're doing. And I was watching the inspections that were going as we were down Estero Road, I think it was, where they showed a green sticker for the ones that could occupy their homes.
Yes, sir.
Then some had the red sticker behind it
Yes,
that couldn't go, and then some had the green and the red, so there was a good mix of it, but it just shows that the inspections were being done, checked again, just to make sure everything was okay as things got on. But thanks for all your help and for helping out them, because it could be us in the shoe on the situation next time.
And we appreciate the support that starts here and ultimately ends with the community. So thank you all.
This board, and for many years, has fully supported your efforts, and we appreciate your efforts too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick has a few more words.
And yes, I just wanted to mention I did attend your open house on Sunday, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Sunday from 10 to 2. I think that's really important that we were able to get the kids in the community out and let them learn about fire safety as well. Of course, they had the bounce houses, snow cones, popcorn. It was really great because they had a machine where the kids and even I believe they bring the machine to the different corporations and businesses in the community.
Correct.
And it helps teach them how long would it take for them to put out a fire. So my son was able to just shoot the TV screen and put out the fire, but I believe someone had mentioned that they can take it into their business, and if a fire were to happen, they have to go and get the extinguisher, things like that, and then actually put the fire out. It would give them an idea on how long it would take for them to put that fire out. So I think that's a really good learning technique.
And all those resources are available to the businesses throughout the county, as well as communities, HOAs, our public educators. You can reach them through the county website. Go to our link under public education. Their direct contact is on there. And then in closing, we would ask everybody to follow this week during the campaign. We introduced the Pink family this week, and they're going to be walking everybody through an escape plan. So follow our social media platforms and stay tuned to get some further direction from them.
And how do they get on your social media platform?
Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. And what's the tag for Instagram?
Pasco County Fire Rescue.
Pasco County Fire, just putting it out there over the TV. Pasco County Fire Rescue. So this is my picture. I was out in Utah, and my girlfriend was with me. She's the wife of a fire chief in another county. So we went to 3 fire stations. That's the first time I've ever done that when I've been in another state. And it was fun for us to brag about my county back home. And that's what I'm talking to them about here. So, and those are their trucks. They're all off-wheel, four-wheel drive fire trucks because of the nature of the area around there, but anyway. Okay, well, there are so many of you that I'm gonna come down and give you this, and I'll have my fellow commissioners stand up behind. Because-
And we too have something for you all.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am.
Do I have to? No. Oh, boy. I just had my hair done.
Oh, how cute.
Where you at?
Oh, that's fun. My grandsons are coming, so they'll love this.
Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna need two. One of y'all's gonna have to give it up. I gotta find another one.
You look great.
You look cute. It doesn't fit your head.
All right.
All right, scooch in.
Just lay it on there, that's what I did. Just lay it on the head. You better put your hat on if we have our hats on.
All right, folks, right here. First round. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you. One more.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much.
Give it to her.
My little man will wear that.
I don't think my 13, 16 actually go well.
Yeah, this says junior firefighter. What's up with that? Corey, this says junior firefighter. What's up with that?
No, let's not rush it.
Okay, so RS1, so now we're okay, RS3.
My son put 3 stickers on his hat.
She has the welcome is for Mr. Okay. All right. We are now ready for the white cane awareness. If you would please step to the podium. All right, I'll go ahead and read the resolution first. Okay?
Thank you.
Resolution number 23-003, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, declaring October 15th, 2022 as White Cane Awareness Day in Pasco County. Whereas the mission of the Lighthouse for the Visually Impaired and Blind is to provide people who are visually impaired and blind with the skills needed to achieve their maximum independence. And whereas Lighthouse works with people of all ages, from children to seniors, who experience vision impairment, blindness, and low vision and live in Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus counties. And whereas White Cane Awareness Day brings recognition and awareness to visually impaired and blind individuals who use white or long canes and seeing eye dogs. And whereas every blind person in our county has the right to carry a white cane, the white cane demonstrates and symbolizes the ability to achieve a full and independent life by allowing blind individuals to move freely and safely from place to place. And whereas the white cane makes it possible for people who are blind to fully participate and contribute to our society and provides the capacity to work productively in competitive employment. And whereas the work of Lighthouse includes the distribution of information about the white cane law, because every citizen should be aware of the law's requirements. And whereas the white cane law requires that motorists exercise appropriate caution when approaching a blind person carrying a white cane. And whereas Florida law also calls upon employers, both public and private, to be aware of and to utilize the employment skills of our blind citizens by recognizing their worth as individuals. And whereas the state of Florida, through its public agencies and with the cooperative assistance of Lighthouse, can look forward to a continued expansion of employment opportunities for blind citizens and greater acceptance of blind persons in the labor market. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby declares October 15th, 2022 as White Cane Awareness Day in Pasco County and encourages our schools, colleges, and universities to offer full opportunities for training to blind persons, encourages employers and the public to utilize the valuable skills of competent blind persons, and to open new opportunities for the blind in our rapidly changing society, and calls upon all citizens to recognize the white cane as an instrument of safety and self-help for blind pedestrians on our streets and highways. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 11th day of October 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Welcome. This is Commissioner Fitzpatrick's, so I'll turn the mic over to Commissioner.
I think it's great, everything that the Lighthouse for the Visually Impaired and Blind has done over the past many years. I know one of my kids' daughters, one of my children, have been attending Lighthouse throughout the years for the past 16 to 18 years now. She'll be 19 this December. So it's amazing the services they provide. They offer everything from summer camps and the white cane awareness. So will you still be doing the walking across the roads on White Cane Awareness Day?
This year, we're actually having an event at the Newport Richey Lighthouse. It's children and teens who are celebrating, and we also have a presentation and teaching people how to use white cane, but more so teaching them how to use sighted guide. May I talk about the history of white cane?
Absolutely.
Well, it's a very short history. Back in the 1930s in Peoria, Illinois, a Lions Club member noticed a visually impaired individual trying to cross the street using a black cane. Who can see a black cane, right? So he painted the black cane white, and it was an overnight success, and the Lions Club started to promote the white cane internationally as a way to help motorists recognize and give way to individuals with white canes crossing the street. Shortly after, so still in 1930, there was an ordinance in Illinois declaring a law which states that anyone carrying a white cane crossing the street had right of way. When the veterans were coming home in World War II, those who were visually impaired or blind needed assistance with returning back to employment. So the long white cane was developed. It provides more information because you're able to feel your way along. So when the veterans came back and they wanted to get back into the workforce, they used the long white cane to feel and find their way back to work and to move around in the community. In 1964, Lyndon B. Johnson proclaimed that White Cane Awareness Day would be a national occurrence on October the 15th. This year, on October 15, at the Newport Richey Lighthouse, we're having our White Cane Awareness celebration. You are all invited to come if you'd like to attend. It's really important to recognize that the white cane, as a universal symbol of vision impairment, is also a symbol of independence. And because of your assistance, you are helping so many people in Pasco who are visually impaired and blind with being safer, so that White Cane Awareness Day is really about white cane law. White cane law stipulates that people with white canes or guide dogs have right of way on the streets.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for recognizing White Cane Day and having an event to recognize it as well. And thank you for everything that you do for our community.
Thank you, Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
And I also want to thank you, board members, our current boot camp for AM skills, right, Tom, is occurring at the Lighthouse for the Blind. I think we had our an event Saturday where we had a record number of attendees. So we're very grateful for you for allowing us to help the citizens of Pasco County get great jobs.
Absolutely. I saw that there were people checking in at the Lighthouse on Facebook, and also AM Skills has come a few times where they're doing intensive training, and we are partnering with them to help them train people who are visually impaired and hearing impaired. at the Lighthouse, Deaf and Hard of Hearing Services is one of the organizations working out of the Newport Richey Lighthouse.
Wonderful. So thank you very much. All right, any board members, anyone else? I think we can all come down for this photo. What do you think, Christina?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day.
I must take it myself.
What you chuckling at there, Cabal?
Okay, our other resolution is a time certain.
And we have a walk-on, so.
Oh, we have a walk-on.
Do you want to do the walk-on now?
Sure.
Okay. Can Miss Christy Sims come up to the podium, please? I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution number 23-004, resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, commending Christy Sims, Senior Assistant County Attorney, for 20 years of dedicated service to the Pasco County Board of County Commissioners and the citizens of Pasco County. Whereas in 2002, Catherine Christy Sims became an assistant county attorney for Pasco County after previously being an assistant district attorney for the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office in Fort Worth, Texas. And whereas as an attorney for Pasco County, Christy was promoted to senior assistant county attorney. And whereas Christy is the county's most senior municipal prosecutor and represents the county in general civil litigation and appeals in the state and federal courts, and is a highly experienced, well-regarded attorney. And whereas, while Christy specialized in prosecuting and enforcing county and state laws throughout her time with Pasco County, she served as an important academic resource for the attorneys in the county attorney's office on many other subjects, ranging from constitutional issues and emergency management issues. And whereas, despite juggling thousands of local ordinance violation citation trials in county court, thousands, advising various county departments on a myriad of legal issues and litigating other complex civil matters in state and federal court, Christy led the creation of laws and task forces which were successfully used to make Pasco County a safer place, including the creation of the first local government ordinance in Florida to address spice synthetic drug based on deficiencies in packaging labels. The creation of the county's demolition ordinance to require demolition or repair of slum, blighted, or dangerous structures. Proposed the creation of the county's high return enforcement task force to the Board of County Commissioners, using personnel from multiple agencies to apply creative, atypical strategies to complex enforcement matters, such as filing nuisance lawsuits under state law or petitioning for a guardian to be appointed in hoarding situations, among other creative, investigative, and legal approaches to enforce the law and protect the county's citizens. And whereas, no matter how busy Christy was, she served many years as counsel for the Pasco County Construction Board, the Pasco County Canvassing Board, drafted all orders issued during local states of emergency, and responded to all activations, and has been a resource to other attorneys in the county attorney's office for her legal knowledge and historical knowledge of the county's laws and past litigation. And whereas over the past 20 years, Christy has been instrumental in eliminating and abating unlawful uses and activities, nuisances, and slum and blight throughout the county. Despite not seeking recognition for such impactful achievements, Christy has accomplished the following, just a small number of her many successes: successfully enforcing the spice ordinance and eliminating the unlawful use and distribution of synthetic drugs in the county, successfully defending the constitutionality of Pasco County's sex offender ordinance, the removal of blighted structures in U.S. Highway 19, often referred to as Fallujah, thank you. I didn't even know that. Fallujah.
That's known as Holiday Square.
Okay.
Which is actually on the agenda this afternoon.
Demolition of USA flea market after discovering extensive, imminent, and unrepairable life, health, and safety violations, successfully litigating against a mobile home park known as Lazy Breeze, requiring either replacement or removal of every mobile home after discovering extensive, imminent, and unrepairable life, health, and safety violations, elimination of several unlawful sexual-orientated businesses, effectively eliminating unpermitted and unlawful placement of large donation bins around the county. And whereas, in addition to Christy's intellect, legal skills, and tenacity both in and out of the courtroom, Christy has shown great dedication and care for the welfare of this county and has worked tirelessly to make Pasco County a safer place to live. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby commends and extends its appreciation to Christy Sims for her 20 years of dedicated service to Pasco County. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 11th day of October 2022.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's a sad day.
Yes, it is.
That's all I can say. It's a very sad day.
Christy Sims, Senior Assistant County Attorney for the Pasco County Attorney's Office. I just wanted to say that one more time. I'm emotional. 20 years ago, when Bob Sumner introduced me to the board, I gave what is certainly the shortest speech I've ever given. 6 words: thank you, I will do my best. I did. We did. I would just drop the mic and leave it there, but I would be remiss if I did not thank certain people who have given me the creative freedom, support, respect, that allowed me to do all of these things, which I find to be important. And those people, specifically Commissioner Oakley, Commissioner Moore, Chairman Starkey, Commissioner Mariano, and former Commissioner, now Property Appraiser Mike Wells, I thank you so much for 5 years ago recognizing that there was a path to do more than what we had been doing. I'm proud of what was accomplished, and I certainly want to thank my boss, Jeff Steinschneider. I've worked for 4 lawyers in my career: a state appellate judge, David Richards, a former U.S. attorney, Marvin Collins, Bob Sumner, and Mr. Steinschneider. And all of them have been everything I could ever ask in a boss, and that is tolerating my sometimes crazy ideas, which have, sometimes they're just crazy, but sometimes there's a kernel of good in the crazy, and giving me the respect that has made me comfortable with the time away, the attention that has been drawn away from my family. My one son, my husband Chris, is here. For the past 10 years, he has been a rock I leaned on as well. But times change, kids grow up. Austin will be in Boise, Idaho, after this year. And y'all can come visit us in the Black Hills of South Dakota, because we're closing on a house on Monday.
Oh, wow. That's a state I've never been to yet, so I'm coming.
We have plenty of guest rooms. Other than that, I ask y'all to keep it between the navigational beacons. Thank you.
Oh, Christy, well, I'll start down here and we'll work our way through. Commissioner.
Christy, it goes without saying, you're going to be missed, probably for a lot of different reasons from different people. But you've done a fantastic job, and I certainly appreciate everything you did for Pasco County. You worked very hard. You were very successful in what you do. I wouldn't want your job for anything, so, but you did it well.
That's a common. That's a common feeling.
Yes, but it's a hard job, and you did a great job at doing it for Pasco County and the citizens of Pasco County. We certainly appreciate all that you did. Thank you.
Me?
Yeah.
I was getting a little emotional there for a second. You know, and listen, in all honesty, you know, I consider you a colleague. You know, we're county commissioners, but we're on the same team. And I've always thought of you as a colleague. And I know the first thing we ever worked on was just a few months after I got here, and I proposed the sexual offender ordinance, which thankfully my fellow board members at that time supported. And you defended that thing to the end. And I tell you what, you were strong, you were tough, and I know just sitting in your office and having these conversations, I'm like, man, if God forbid anybody ever got in trouble around here, that's who I'd want. That's on my side. That's my litigator in that courtroom for sure. And you know, we worked together on that blight ordinance as well. And you see what's transpired since that's happened. You mentioned like Fallujah, but you know, when I initially brought that up, we talked about 54 and 19 and 301, and it's just it's grown and it's received the support, and I thank Jeff obviously for giving yourself and the other attorneys within the county the ability to work, you know, hand in hand with commissioners, you know, and that's one of the great things about Jeff, and I'll toot his horn too, is that we're able to have these conversations. You know, you're able to reach out, which we talk on many occasions. You reach out to me, I'd reach out to you, but we had that ability to do so. We just built a very strong working relationship. So wish you nothing but the best, and with your husband Chris back there, and enjoy your new home in South Dakota. And like Chair Starkey said, we might have to stop by and say hi sometime, because that's one place I have not been to.
We're in between Sturgis and Mount Rushmore.
It's a great spot to be in, but you will be dearly, dearly missed, and there will be a void here. So.
I did forget to mention, my colleagues in the county attorney's office have been amazing, particularly my trial partner in crime, or non-crime, Patrick Moore, who is about to become your next county judge. And I do appreciate Fire Marshal Frum and Sheriff Naco's enthusiasm in working with our office on the issues where our interests cross, and it's been amazing. And I also feel like I have to thank the private attorneys in the private sector that have worked with me for 20 years to solve problems.
Okay, I'm going to go last. So Commissioner Fitzpatrick. Oh, do you want to say something?
It's been a brief 2 years.
I'll let Jeff go
Very
last.
nice working with you. And enjoy your next endeavors on your next journey. Thank you.
Commissioner Mariano.
Thank you. Christy, you've been nothing but amazing. As Mike says, as far as litigator goes, none better. Your passion has been phenomenal every step of the way, making this county better, and you have made a huge difference. You have helped this county in tremendous ways. Everything you did was important. And, you know, Chris, wish you guys all the best of luck for your family situation, let it be, but you can hold your head high that you've made Pasco County a better place. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I just don't even know how I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing without you here. And Patrick, it's just a huge hole for me. And I just want to thank you for taking my calls at all hours. And sometimes we were scheming over a glass of wine. But gosh, your dedication to your job and the challenges that we face here, unmeasurable. And when you said you were leaving, it was really hard to take, and I'm very sad this day has come. You really have left a mark on this county, and I'm really going to miss you. And I'm sure your colleagues are too in your department.
And I will miss you. And it was all worth it.
Madam Chair?
Just thank you for everything, yeah.
I tried to get her to stay, too.
I know. When she sold her house in Longleaf, I go, she's really going, so. Mr. Steinschneider.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, thank you. I think I've said this publicly before, but I know I've said it individually to you all. It is highly unusual for a assistant county attorney to stay in the code enforcement field for their entire career. It is usually a entry level. They come in, they get into court, or they appear before the code enforcement board for 5 years, and they burn out and they move on. Pasco County has been very fortunate to have a senior prosecutor to do that work for the county, because it's not just a job, it's an adventure. The skill and thinking outside the box that comes with being in this field for as long as it has, the commission only reaped those benefits. I mean, when Christy came to me and said that she had talked to Dr. Bellis and she was struggling with the concept of being pulled in various directions by the sheriff's office, particularly Vice, and the fire marshal, the building official, the code enforcement folks, and there were certain things that she just couldn't get to. That's one of the reasons, that's when, and she also talked me into hiring Patrick, saying, oh, I'll train him and he'll be my successor.
Oh, Lord. But that's not my fault.
But the whole concept that Christy brought to the board with Dr. Bellis of the high return enforcement is something that you don't see in other counties, and constitutionals, departments, all coming together and saying, this is a problem and we need to devote resources to it, and that's what we think the priority for the county should be, and not the approach of a bunch of different departments all wanting that court time. And so I want to thank Christy for the time that she's put into the office, the stress and anxiety that the office has caused for her over the last years, and wish her the best.
Thank you. Since he brought it up, I have to talk about that fateful meeting, because Christy and I had a meeting with the code enforcement and the sheriff's office to figure out how to go after the worst offenders of property in the county. And it turned out we didn't keep records of who property landlords who had the most calls, but the sheriff's office knew where they were called the most. And we brainstormed, and Christy said, I know how to go after this. We'll use minimum standards and some other ideas, and boom, she came up with a brilliant idea. And right away they went to Dade City and they closed down that mobile home park. What was the name of that? Do you remember?
Lazy Breeze, there was one on 301,
Yeah.
Pasco RV Park.
Leisure Lane?
Leisure Lane. There has been hundreds, if not nearing 1,000 structures that have been either torn down or repaired and brought up to code. And when they said I've tried thousands of county ordinance violations, literally thousands.
Yeah.
Almost 6,000 during my career. But I do want to set the record straight on two things. First, I did not call a defendant a slumlord in court.
No, I called him.
No, I merely asked whether he was the head slumlord of Teak Street.
The head slumlord.
Or only one of many.
It's the same word.
And second, because Ralph's in the room, I did actually care that the guy was naked while mowing his lawn. I just cared that he was mowing his lawn more than I cared that he was naked. But thank you all. It's been quite a ride. I also want to thank Judge William Sustak, who you all know him, fabulous judge, and taught me to be the best litigator in the courtroom I could be.
Oh, God, I don't know how we're going to keep doing this without you. It's going to be tough. All right, we're all going to come down, take a picture, and give you a hug.
Okay, folks, right here. A couple more. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Christy? Christy, you may not be aware, but this afternoon, on our public hearing, is the company that's bringing a project to Fallujah. Hopefully, we are approving it. Yeah, so we're finally getting some action there.
My 11th time certain is here.
Yep. Okay. That's RS1. Okay. All right, we're going to do RS1. If anyone's here from Wesley Chapel, Advent Wesley Chapel, please come on up.
Good morning. I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution number 23-005, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, congratulating Advent Health Wesley Chapel on their 10th anniversary and thanking them for their support of the Pasco County community. Whereas local hospitals and their leaders serve an essential role in ensuring the well-being of citizens and the community they serve. And whereas Advent Health Wesley Chapel has been named a top 100 hospital by Meritive for 5 consecutive years and has received 14 consecutive A grades for hospital safety by the Leapfrog Group's biannual ratings and maintains a Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services 5-star ranking. And whereas the Advent Health Wesley Chapel team of 1,575 physicians, nurses, and staff delivers unparalleled content unparalleled consistent health care, which includes clinical expertise in cardiology, cancer, emergency care, surgical services, obstetrics. Thank you.
Perfect.
Well done. Perfect. Thanks. Words that I don't use often. Level 2 NICU, neurosurgery, stroke care, rehabilitation, weight loss surgery, imaging, laboratory, home health, wound care, diabetes, physician practices, and women's services. And whereas from opening in October of 2012 through March 2022, 5,127 babies have been delivered and 55,818 surgeries have been performed at Advent Health Wesley Chapel with a total of over 800,000 patients. And whereas growing alongside the Pasco County community, Advent Health Wesley Chapel has added 86 beds, 8 operating rooms, and 15 ER beds since opening. And whereas a core mission of the Advent Health organization is investing in the community and health care. And whereas Advent Health Wesley Chapel has contributed over $300 million towards charity care, coverage shortfalls, and cash and in-kind contributions to other organizations since opening. And whereas in 2019, Advent Health Wesley Chapel donated to the Pasco County Parks, Recreation, and Natural Resources Department to create a universally inclusive playground at Wesley Chapel District Park that is enjoyed by citizens of all abilities. And whereas Advent Health Wesley Chapel has invested over $400 million to expand the hospital and services it provides and ensure the latest technology, all with the goal of providing comprehensive and advanced care. And whereas Advent Health Wesley Chapel has worked tirelessly to bring outstanding health care to Pasco County, but also remains invested not only in their own facilities and technologies, but directly into the community they serve. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby congratulates Advent Health Wesley Chapel on their 10th anniversary and thanks them for their support of the Pasco County community. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 11th day of October 2022.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Commissioner Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, yeah, welcome everybody. So just for the record, Connie Bladen's here, is the Director of Community Outreach. Rick Bruno, Executive Director of Business Development. Bibi Ali, Human Resource Business Partner. And I think Millie Brown's, there she is, you're hiding over there. You're allowed to come over. And she's the Government Affairs Advocate, Director of Government Affairs, if I'm not correct. So it's crazy it's been 10 years.
I know, it is crazy.
It seems like yesterday. It really does. And somebody that lives very close to the hospital obviously got to see this, come from the ground up. And one of the most amazing things is that you were supposed to have that expansion in 5 years. We all remember that, right? And when you built this hospital, how you built it was, you could go vertical, and you made that so that roof could easily come off. You did it in 3 years.
Yes.
That's how fast you grow. It might have been less than 3 years that you decided to expand. And a lot of you did this. I have a long history with Advent. It dates way back. I mean, I was a consultant for Advent one time for 2 years. Owned a home health company that worked very closely with some of your hospitals. Back in the day when I was a VP for a medical staffing company, did a lot of work over in Orlando with Advent and some of the hospitals that are now at Advent as well. But I mean, you guys have grown by leaps and bounds, and it's amazing. And my wife, a registered nurse, her first job ever was at the old UCH as a labor and delivery nurse, working 12-hour shifts at night. It was wild because sometimes we pass each other on the road. She's coming home and we'd be in the neighborhood. Hey, have a great sleep, honey. I'm going to work, and she'd go home and go to bed. But I can only say extraordinary things about you guys, and you've been great community partners, and it was in the resolution too. I know when I reached out to you guys, and then also your CEO, Eric, about the all-inclusive playground, and you guys didn't hesitate. You were right in. You came right in because you knew, obviously, and saw the benefit this would have on the entire community. And not just the Wesley Chapel area. Kids travel from all over the place to go to that all-inclusive playground. So, I thank you. I thank the other donors. I thank my fellow board members that were here at that time for supporting that. Because, You know, that is a community effort, and that's what you guys are all about. So I'll quit rambling, because I could talk all day long, because, you know, as you guys know, I love healthcare and having the ability. And listen, not getting a personal medical business or family's business, but we've used you too. You know, it's nice that you're part of the community and you're there. And the care has been extraordinary. You've taken care of family members of mine and done just an extraordinary job. And that's what matters most, right? The care you provide our citizens and the people in the community. So thank you so very much. Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Mariano.
Yes, I'd like to say, you guys have been tremendous community partners, but I just can't believe Commissioner Moore left out that you even help out Advent Ice.
Oh, yes, well, I didn't even mention that one. There's so much.
I know, no, phenomenal for all that you do. You're a great company. We're delighted to have you in Pasco County.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Oakley.
I've been there from the beginning too. Connie came to me.
Yeah.
I worked with her I gave her a donation. My name used to be on the wall right as you come out of the elevator, but I'm not sure if they've remodeled or threw that out.
It's still there. I've seen it. Yeah.
Of course, you can always give more.
It's hard to believe that's 10 years ago. Oh, want to be more? Okay. We'll work on that. So, but it's been a great add to our community and the health care you've given. I mean, it's grown so much, and even in Dade City's now Advent and in Zephyr Hills, so we have Advent all around us and good care for our citizens. So we certainly appreciate everything y'all do.
Thank you.
And I would echo my fellow commissioners. We're very grateful that you're here, and you've been such a valuable presence in our community, and we're very grateful for all you do.
Thank you.
I think we can all make it now.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
I think
Commissioner Starkey, Madam
Oh,
Chair.
Commissioner
And I would like to say thank you for everything that you do. You've been a major asset to Pasco County, and you really stepped up to the plate during COVID. So again, thank you for everything that you and your staff and your team has done.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
So, we have, here's the frame. How we doing? Good to see you. 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 So, we'll listen. Let's switch between you guys and chair. The chair will be right there. And then we'll resist. That sound good? And then I'll give you some extra ones you can put up somewhere else. Okay? You're here, buddy. Come on. Get in.
Everybody look at Brian first, and then I'll take mine.
Thank you.
Everybody hold. Right. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, we're going to give you an opportunity, if you want to say anything, to go back to the mic.
Here's some extra ones too, beside the frame.
Yeah, I realized that too as we were.
So, yeah, I'm wondering, it's been 10 years, so can I get this reset to 20? I've got it down to 20 minutes, but it was, 10 years ago, we were blessed to have been selected to build a facility in this county and serve this county, and it has been our pleasure, and we've been honored and humbled to be able to serve the patients and the people of the community. A lot of our staff obviously live here, are part of the community. Some of us have been patients in our hospital facility, so we've experienced firsthand the other side of things and the care and compassion that we give. And it's a building, right? It's a beautiful building, but it's really a testament to the folks like BB and Connie who have been here from the beginning, and they've embodied their DNA through this facility and the people that work there and take care of our patients and our visitors. And hopefully from the leadership team, we're taking care of our staff too, because they're critical. They're the ones that make us who we are. And we're, again, very grateful. We appreciate today, and we're blessed to continue our mission to serve the community. And we look forward to continuing to do so for many, many, many years to come. But we're happy for this 10-year anniversary. And we're going to have a celebration that was supposed to be a couple weeks ago. Thank you, Ian, for just messing everything up. But so look forward to that in the future, that we're going to have a great celebration on campus. And hopefully everybody can bring their families and attend and celebrate with us. So thank you again, all.
Thank you all.
Thank
so
you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, board members, we are moving on to the consent agenda. I have the following items. David Engel, C12, poll revise. Commissioner Moore, C14, poll discuss. Andrew Baxter, C19, poll revise. Andrew Baxter, C22, poll and revise. Andrew again on C27 to pull and revise. Tyler Parks, C44, withdraw. Branford Adama, C45, withdraw. And Branford again, C51, withdraw. Board members, are there any other items to be pulled from the consent agenda?
Most approved, the the consent agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Good morning, Mr. Engel.
Good morning, David Engel, Economic Growth Director. There's a minor Scribner error on the agenda memo on page 2, second paragraph. The amount is to read $312,500 versus $312,000, which was an error.
Okay.
Thank you.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And I just would say again, since Tom's here, we had a record number of people turn out for our Discovery Day. Tom and I have been on the phone and on Zooms with folks from the state as they retool career source and workforce development in the state. And it's our hope that the workforce training program in the state gets better and better, because it's kind of challenging right now. But they're very grateful for what we're doing, and we're grateful for the county support in workforce development. And when I talk about what we do here in Pasco County, when other commissioners and other elected officials and other stakeholders from around the state are on these statewide Zoom calls, I think we're setting a standard here in our county for what we've done to help our citizens get great jobs and for our companies to be able to expand. So thank you all very much. Okay, C14, Commissioner Moore.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. No, I thought this was just a really, really, I hate to use the word neat, but neat program. And I'd love to hear more about it, because I think our citizens would as well.
Certainly. So I'm Chief from Fire Marshal, Delegate for Chief Casson. 231002 is an extension that we are requesting. It came before the board in 16, that interlocal between us and the school board. The school board has a emergency medical responder course where high school students go through the application. They actually obtain their emergency medical responder certification, and this affords them the opportunity to come out in a clinical setting with our ambulances across the county and get that real life application and get their skill sets signed off. That has unfortunately expired, and this request is to extend that interlocal for 5 calendar years with termination clauses by both parties.
Yeah, what a great program, right?
Very cool.
It is. They're also moving towards a fire academy type based program as well. Chief Whited and his crew, Deputy Chief Swartout and the operations complement have been working with the school board to get that up and running also. It's going to further our recruitment issue and hopefully speak to the long-term retention when we're getting those homegrown kids right out of high school and interjecting them into our organization.
It makes total sense. You know, we were really pushing in the state's pushing. I know a lot of people here, you know, are supportive of, you know, dual enrollment and things like that. So why not get ahead of the game? It just, right? I mean, there you are. You're learning a trade while you're still in high school that you're going to be able to use. And if you can get ahead a year or two, it makes total sense. So move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Andrew. C19. Oh, okay.
Good morning, Doug Anderson, Assistant Director of Facilities Management.
Good morning.
C19, we had to correct a deduction amount in paragraph 5 from $63,803.41 to $68,003.41. Recommend approval, please.
Move for approval as revised.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much. All right, C22.
C22, there was a fee summary that was added as Exhibit B that was missing from the original upload.
Move for approval as revised.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. C27.
C27, the consent of surety documents were added to this agenda item.
I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. And now we have Tyler Parks, C-44.
No, they're
withdrawn.
withdrawn.
Yeah, the
Rest of
last,
them are
next three are withdrawn. Okay. So now we have 1R. These out of the way. All right, come on up.
Good morning, Commissioners. Christina Cordone, Assistant Director, Parks, Recreation, and Natural Resources. With the assistance of the County Attorney's Office, we want to introduce a proposed ordinance to establish a minimum wake zone in the Gulf Islands Lagoon. Next slide. So our department was contacted by several homeowners to establish a speed restriction in the Gulf Islands Lagoon. A stakeholder meeting was held with the Pasco County Marine Sheriff Patrol Unit, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, and the homeowners. At that stakeholders meeting, all parties agreed that a speed restriction in the area, would be requested. Per section 114-41 of the Pasco County Code of Ordinances, it authorizes the board to restrict the wake of vessels in waters within its jurisdictions. Attached for you as an introduction to the proposed ordinance, it amends Chapter 114, Section 41 of the Pasco County Code of Ordinance, creating a minimum wake zone in and around the Gulf Island Lagoon. The ordinance will establish a slow-speed minimum wake boating restriction area within 300 feet of the bridge on the northeast side of the lagoon and 300 feet of the canal entrance on the west side of the lagoon. If you look at the map attached, the 300 feet buffer is that yellow circle that you see around. So per the Florida statute, that's what we were able to set the minimum speed zone. So that's that yellow circle. In addition, on the map, there's 2 yellow crosses. Per the residents, they also wanted to install some informational signs, so there'll be some danger blind curve signs on those sections, so as boaters come around those curves, those will be informational signs. The recommendation is to approve the introduction of this ordinance and direct the board records to schedule and advertise the final public hearing on the December 6th board meeting in Newport Richey.
So I have a question. Do you want to go first, Jack?
Just a comment. I am in a partnership with property that butts this area. I know the resident and the board member that brought this idea forward. I didn't even know about the stakeholder committee, haven't participated in any conversations with it. I will be abstaining from the vote and not commenting.
Oh, okay, now I know where it is. I wasn't sure what that, never heard of the Gulf Island Lagoon.
It's located just south of Hudson Beach.
Okay. I have a question for you, because this is something that I've been trying to do, and Mike, are they able, I sent you a text, are they, okay. I have a home on the South Channel in Gulf Harbors, and I've mentioned this to Mr. Wiley and others, that I and my neighbors sit, first of all, we have a channel that is supposed to be a no-wake zone, and in high tide, people will get 1 foot out of, it's an unmarked channel, but they speed and put a wake, and I hear my neighbors running out and yelling at the boats all the time. But, so that's troublesome, but what's more troublesome to me is to watch the boaters run over the manatees, and I see it happen over and over again, because in high tide, people like to come in there and fish, and they go full speed in there, and they don't realize that, because I see them, the manatees are in the little channels that are deeper, and they hit them. And so I want to see this area, it's got a name, I'm trying to think of what it's called right now. Philman's Bayou.
Okay.
It needs to be there needs to be slow speed, or watch for the manatees, or whatever they do, and whatever you're putting over here, we need to extend it to that portion in there, And can you zoom in more? Yeah, you see Philman's Creek there? And, okay, now look south. Yeah. Yeah, right in there, in that Philman's Creek, that's where they're getting hit. Not all the way in, but at the mouth of that.
Okay.
And I'd like to see this kind of protection extended here. Can that be added to this, or does that have to be a whole separate ordinance?
I can talk to Mr. Wiley and see, this particular ordinance is specific for the Gulf Island Lagoon, so we'd probably bring in another one, you know, for that area.
The area, you could combine it into one ordinance, but the areas would have to be specifically identified in that ordinance. They couldn't just, you couldn't just take a paintbrush and say it's all.
But you agree with me that
Yeah.
this, I'm watching all the time.
Yeah, Madam Chair, is somebody that doesn't have a house there, but boats in that area and fishes in that area quite often myself. So I know the area that is on the agenda today. Things you mentioned, obviously the manatees, but also the effects it has on people's personal seawalls too.
Yes, yeah.
Deteriorates them faster. And not everybody has seawalls, so you know what happens then with the wakes. Obviously, it's gonna obviously continue to spoil that area. But listen, I even think about the South Channel Gulf Harbors.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm on the South
all
Channel.
the way out though. I mean, that thing,
Yeah.
people fly.
People fly, yeah.
Listen, I'm not trying to be the boat police here, but at the same time, I don't disagree with you. I mean, it gets pretty sketchy out there at times, especially on the weekends. That's why I
Yeah.
prefer if I can go on a weekday. It's much better.
That's not a no wake area now?
It's supposed to be,
Yeah.
but there's no signs.
There's no
People
signs?
put them on their docks. They put.
Yeah, they're all over the
Watch
docks.
for manatees
Yeah.
and no wake signs, but it's not posted.
Right.
Yeah, but so you have the safety aspects, you have the environmental aspects, like
Right.
you mentioned,
Yeah.
Chair. And then you have the personal property side of things where
Right.
it deteriorates that as well. So I'd be supportive of you adding that as well.
Okay, all right. And we don't take a motion on this today, right?
Yes, you do.
Oh, we do.
You-
Okay.
You would
So-
take you would
So I'll take a
authorize
motion with the
introduction and-
modification.
And advertisement.
So I'll move to approve with the modification.
But I did
to-
move.
to- Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then you need to modify your,
Modify it to include the other area? Can we do that?
Yeah,
So long as they have the information to bring it forward, you could bring it forward on December 6th. I don't know whether staff has all the data that they need for these additional.
well, maybe they have to bring it the next meeting, but might as well just add it to this one. It's the same thing.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
Except you'll have 2 abstentions if you add this
Oh,
to
this won't come back. This won't come back to when?
December 6th.
Well, I won't be here.
Commissioner.
What?
You'll have 2 abstentions on the ordinance if you tie them together.
Oh, so-
Because both.
Why
of
do
the-
I have to,
Same
We'll just
reason the
go ahead and do this
commissioner.
and they bring one back.
Philman's Creek is nothing to me. I mean, it's
But you also wanted to add the south.
South Chan.
the south
So there's
channel
not enough
that you
houses there
directly-
not
that
enough boaters to come out to negate my personal.
I would recommend that you take the same position Commissioner Mariano is taking
Okay,
with his
but I still
property.
think it'll pass with 2 abstentions. I'm still okay
Not if three
to,
of you abstain.
Madam Chair, can I
Yeah.
jump in real quick? So this one's on today,
Right.
and I don't know if you want to push this one either farther out, so why don't we just bring back your item? Because you want this one to pass.
all right, but what does
Well,
that mean
I
for
agree, so I
staff?
think we should just update the
to,
motion.
To have to go through a whole new ordinance? Do you have to go to the ordinance committee and all that kind of stuff?
So ultimately, we would need to, you know, do some research. Per the resolution, you have to have exact locations where the markers are going to be, so we would need to gather that data.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do this one.
Okay, but what I'm saying
We'll
is,
do that when we bring it.
what is the procedure for you to start a new ordinance, and how long does that take? Because there's a process,
No.
and you have to get in line, right?
No, we're not creating a new ordinance, we're just, the ordinance itself right now just has areas called out. So what Parks will need to do is do the research that is required to bring that forward. So there is some geographical information that has to be done, and I'm not sure if there's speed studies or other things that they have to observe as well as part of that. If that can be done by December 16th, it doesn't sound like there's an issue bringing that back. 6th, I'm sorry.
So you can add this one today, Madam Chair, you can add this one today, then amend the current ordinance to add those other.
We can amend it at any time, that's what we're doing
Yeah,
with
there you
this
go.
one right now.
Yeah, so you're just amending it, so. Might as well get through.
But the motion requires.
But if you would like us to bring that
Separate
back
motion.
as a condition,
separate.
that's fine, and as long as, Parks has the bandwidth to do that, we'll accomplish that.
So my motion is to go ahead with the ordinance today, and then we'll have them bring that other one back.
May I take a separate motion? Clear this one real quick, and then come back with another motion.
And amend it at the second
Yeah.
hearing.
Yeah,
There's no second hearing.
yeah.
December 6th?
It'll be a new hearing.
There's one hearing on this. It's on December 6th.
Okay.
So it sounds like the motion on the floor is to go ahead with it the way it is proposed by staff and to bring Gulf Harbors back as a separate.
No, is that what you guys are saying?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is that what you said? Bring it
what
as a
we're saying.
separate?
That would provide certainty, and
Yeah.
that would not slow this one
There's nothing
down.
wrong with that. Doesn't slow it down, just
All right.
continues.
Maybe you can bring the other one on December 6th, too.
We will try.
Okay.
All right,
Okay, we
second.
have a motion and a second. All in
Yes.
favor?
Aye.
It passes, thank you.
Can I abstain?
And one abstention with Commissioner Mariano. Okay, we are on to our commissioner items.
Didn't think we'd get that far.
Commissioner Oakley.
Okay. We have an upcoming Lacoochee Community Cleanup on Saturday, October 15th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the collection locations will be 20653 Floyd Road, Lacoochee, and 38724 Mudcat Grant Boulevard, Lacoochee. And that's in Stanley Park.
Mudcat Grant, that's a
Yep, Mudcat
famous
Grant.
baseball player.
Yep. And that's when Dizzy Dean, when Mudcat was a pitcher, Dizzy Dean could not pronounce Lacoochee, so he had it La Couche.
Yes.
That's history, because y'all don't have that, so.
Commissioner, that doesn't seem like it fits too well with Dade City area.
That's my new name.
It's good, we're rebuilding Lacoochee, so it means a lot,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Brantford here? Come forward. I got a surprise for him.
Oh, okay.
Bradford's come to us in his new position, and with that has come some outlook in setting up programs and things when you call in as a citizen. Potholes get fixed within 2 or 3 days. And I had a citizen tell me that, Bradford, that you'd set that program up to do that. And it was out on 41 because I saw potholes, so we called it in, and the very next morning it was fixed.
Nice.
And my friend out there on 41 called me to let me know, hey, they already got them fixed. A great program that, people always worry about potholes, and you see them from time to time, but for them to stay there and keep damaging tires and cars and vehicles is great. That they get this program for your team and your staff to make that work. That's a great thing for Pasco County, and it's a step up from where we've been. So I certainly appreciate that and your team for doing what you do. So.
Well, thank you, Bramford Atumwa, Interim Assistant County Administrator. Thank you very much, Commissioner Oakley. And the credit goes to the team and also to you, all of you, for providing the budget for that,
right.
For raising up the level of service.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's good. Thank you.
I just wanted to touch on that. And I don't know, Commissioner, if you were on the board when it happened, and you weren't here yet, but we tried for a couple years to raise that second 5-cent, second, I think it was, how much was the second 5 cents? What was the number?
Is it second?
Yeah,
Second
Jack, you were
second
here.
local something?
When we had to
That's-
raise the money to,
The second 5-cent local option.
yeah, it
is
was
that what you're talking about?
yeah, it was the second 5 cents local option tax, the gas tax, so that we could get the money to fill the potholes. Because before we did that, it was taking 60 days to fill a pothole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we just didn't have the money. So, it's not something that you ever want to do, but that's something that we had to do in order to take care of our citizens and make sure they were driving safely on the road. So
So it really works good when you can call in, so all you commissioners can know. I didn't know it was set up that way, but I found out from one of my citizens, and I wanted to thank you and your team, Branford, for putting that in for us. So it really is good for the county.
All right. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Okay.
That's all I had.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I just wanted to say, and I know we all feel this way, that our thoughts and prayers continue to be with the people in Southwest Florida because of Hurricane Ian. It's going to take a long time for those folks to rebuild, as we well know. I mean, many, many years for some of those areas. If you look at places like Sanibel Island and like Little Gasparilla Island and Matlacha, I mean, thank God for our governor stepping in and driving hard to get these things done and get at least temporary, bridges done so people can get back and forth to their homes. But it's gonna be a tough road. So, we've had a great EM team that has gone down there, fire rescue, the sheriff's office. I see Troy Stevenson's in the audience today, and Troy, you spent a lot of time down there. I saw you in boats getting out there to help people as well. So thank you as well. But everybody that's stepping up and going down there. We appreciate each and every one of you. So again, they'll continue to be in our thoughts and prayers, and Pasco County, stands by your side, and any additional assistance, we're here for everybody. So again, thank you to the sheriff and everything he's done as well. So we appreciate it. Now, on to something else, which I brought up before. I think I brought up last year. I'll bring up again. Maybe it was the year before last. I can't remember. Let's talk about political signs a little bit. Our ordinance, I had to get with Mr. Steinschneider on this, in our code, for the purpose of illustration, temporary political signs may be posted no earlier than 15 days prior to the date of candidate qualification, but here's the big one. They need to be removed 5 calendar days after the election to which they actually relate. So that means, for example, if it's a primary and somebody's already won or they're not going on to the general or whatever, these things got to come down. So I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me, and I don't want to have to be the work as a code enforcement officer, and my office doesn't as well. But at least around my area, around my district, there's quite a few that are still out there that won't be in the general. So where are we at right now? What are we doing? Because we're on 2 months.
Every once in a while, I see some from the 20.
Listen, there's some
2020 election.
Listen, you might see one out in nowhere land that nobody knows is out there,
ones,
and
yeah.
it gets thrown, it falls down in the woods. Listen, I get it, but when I'm seeing like 20 or 30 or 40 out there, 2 months, when do we find them?
Thank you, Commissioners. Good morning. Sally Sherman, Assistant County Administrator, Development Services. We've been trying to take the approach of notifying all the candidates that they have outstanding signs. We have removed a plethora of signs ourselves from the right-of-way, and they're the larger ones that we have also, we're getting ready to file citations on those because we've given a number of notices to go on and remove the signs. Even with the upcoming hurricane, we removed a lot of signs so that they didn't become projectiles during the event. But we're about to start sending out citations. Staff had a discussion last week because they gave notice, made phone calls, and they're still there.
And listen, I get it. I mean, I know in my last cycle, somebody let me know, like, it was probably a couple weeks after. It's like, hey, we saw one down in here, and it was literally in an area. I was like, I didn't know there was a sign there, So we went out and got it real quick. But that's going to happen. I get it. But 15, 20, 30, 40. That's an issue. That just means they don't care or not following the ordinance. So I appreciate it.
Is there a fine?
I'm just tired of getting calls and seeing people in the grocery store, and I'm like,
Is there a fine that goes along with having those signs left out there?
If memory serves correct, I believe once a citation is issued, it's $150 a day. Don't quote me on the amount, but there is a fine associated with it.
Per sign. $150 a day per citation. It's kind of like our blight ordinance, right?
Yes, sir.
We did 500 a day for that. Okay, well, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Besides that, that's all I got. Appreciate it.
Okay, Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Okay, I don't know what photos are going first. So I do have.
There you go.
Start with Moonlight. Okay, so I'm gonna hand these out.
Just this one.
Sort of.
This has been ongoing for, well, a while, and the email started, I think I gave away my copy as well.
Or you get one in a second.
So back in October of 2021, fire had gone out and one of the lead fire inspectors went out to the site and they did review the roads listed that were originally brought to our attention, that they are in poor shape and would substantially increase response time as a result if they were improved. One road was also completely impassable. The roads on this list were Telford, Shalimar, Smoky Lake, Hedges, Elsa, Jungle, and Helena. 2 of those have already had one-time fixes, so I would not request to have those completed at this time. But a lot of these roads, vehicles will get stuck in. There have been buses that have gotten stuck in these roads. I believe there have been garbage service trucks had also been stuck in those. These are also the additional photos. You want to take these, hand them down, please? There had been additional photos that had also gone out that I had received. In addition to the other roads, I would like to focus on the first several non-passable roads that were originally brought to my attention October 13th. I just paused my motion. In addition, and I don't know if Mike Carballo would like to jump in, but discussing these roads, the several non-passable on the first handout that I also just mentioned. The one-time fix would be about $64,000 minus the 2 that already had the one-time fixes would bring it to $49,000 to do a one-time fix on those 5 roads. Yes, on those 5 roads. Due to the community putting carpet and other debris and other items into their road to try to fix them themselves, it would actually cost $110,000 to do a one-time fix. I do feel the community should remove the debris and carpet that they put into their roads. And that is one of the, so I would like to have input as well on that. And then also, do you have the road Wander? Can you bring up Wander Avenue, please? Wander Avenue actually overflowed after one of the storms, and there were dead fish in the road from the storm. And Wander Avenue was also, I have numerous photos of that. I'm not sure. I have numerous photos of Wander Avenue. They're in my email as well. So if we start off with just Wander Avenue, that wouldn't have additional debris that has to be removed. Wander is one of the many unpaved dirt roads in Moon Lake Estates. The road, it also intersects with Moon Lake Road, which is a major collector. Wander Avenue is a substandard road in very poor condition, which floods after major storm events, making the road unusable to many residents attempting to go to work or get home. And I would like to propose Wander Avenue for a one-time fix, and the estimate cost for that road is $6,500.
Madam Chair?
Yep.
Just a question for the Commissioner. Are these are county maintained, or these are private?
These are private roads. Wander.
No, they are B roads, right? These are public roads that are not county maintained because they were never accepted into maintenance.
Most of the Moon Lake units, if they're within the platted subdivisions, were dedicated to the public. We never accepted maintenance.
Okay.
So we don't
They're not private
maintain
roads,
them, but
yeah.
they're not private roads.
They're not private roads, okay.
Do you want to keep talking?
No, I was just curious,
Okay.
yeah, so that answered the question.
So, Commissioner, I appreciate that these roads are a challenge, but I think probably what might be more appropriate in this area is for staff to dive into this community and come up with a plan. I don't think that we can just unbudgeted start fixing all the roads in Moon Lake, but I do think we need a plan to pull them out of this kind of living, and that's where I am with it.
So I've been working for this over the past year, and they have dove into it. It would actually cost $45 million for them to go in and completely pave the roads, which obviously is not what we're moving forward with today. What I would like to move forward with is making sure Wander, being that it intersects with Moon Lake Road, that one I would like to see get fixed and have a one-time fix for 6500 for Wander Avenue because of the conditions of that road.
I'll support that.
Yeah, I'll support Wander, but we can't just go in and do the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, but I'll support that.
I'll support Wander, yeah.
So
you want to make a motion?
Second.
All right, all in favor of fixing Wander one time?
Yeah.
Aye.
So that would be, thank you.
Okay.
That would be the one-time fix. In addition, I know as we just continue to discuss the PVAS program and different alternatives about bringing roads onto the grid. So we will continue to look at that. But as for the impassable roads that are being addressed in the first email, I would like to make it clear that in October of 2021, the chief their team had gone out. Okay, well, their team had gone out, and Helena was also completely impassable, and then you had the other 6 roads. So I would like to see them being addressed and how we can address them. 1 or 2 of the roads were actually only needing the clearance and the trees maintained, so the ambulances could go through and the fire truck could go through. So I feel Helena should be addressed secondly, because that one was completely impassable, and that was deemed by the fire department. And then somehow if we can work with the community to have them remove the debris that was put into the roads, because I am not comfortable asking for an additional $50,000 to remove what the citizens put in the road.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Yep.
So Commissioner, okay, which road again is it? You said that's impassable and fire rescue deemed it impassable?
Helena Street is completely impassable at the south end with the vertical clearance issue.
Okay, so tell me again what the ask is to cut the trees, branches, what was the guesstimate?
I handed out the PowerPoint. So.
Yeah, you just can give me that number.
So I'm looking at the Helena Street here, is for right-of-way maintenance, road stabilizing and regrading is $10,500.
Helena. I'm looking at Helena. Okay, I found it now. Helena, this is regarding the road and right-of-way maintenance, tree trimming and vegetation removal, so fire rescue can get through. Is that correct, Commissioner?
Yes.
All right, I'll support that. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
And then I would like to continue to work with the community, see how we can work together to start having them. Now that we have started, I would like to see the community come in and have input and help with that. I'll address the next photos. So these photos were from the open house. I don't know if they're in order or not. So the kids were having a great time with snow cones, and the bounce house, they did have it personalized for fire safety, and there were a lot of people. It was a great turnout. Of course, the kids were having fun on the bounce houses, and They had the ladder truck out. I know a lot of people ask about the ladder truck. Where is the ladder truck? The ladder truck is stationed at Station 30 on Massachusetts, and it's a 100-foot ladder truck. And there was one more, this photo. This is what I was talking about, the device where it starts the fire, and then from the time at a business, they go and hit the fire alarm or make their phone calls and get their fire extinguisher, bring it to the fire, and start putting out the fire. It actually tells you how long it takes to put out the fire. So my son took 54 seconds to put out that fire, so that was good. But I think it's great.
That's cool.
Educational tool for our businesses to utilize so they can learn what do they need to do and what steps do they need to take to put out a fire. Thank you.
I've never seen that.
And then this is the Stomp Out Suicide Run on Saturday. We attended. Again, there was a great turnout. It's very important that we continue to raise awareness on suicide in our mental health community and reduce the stigma. My daughter and I, she ran that, she jogged and walked that with me. I still feel like I was hit by a vehicle today. The next photo, he is the East Side director for the East Side in Parks and, one of them in Parks and Rec. He was my encouragement to finish that race and show me where to go, because I'm not very good. That was my first 5K job in my life. So the next picture, I think it was just everyone coming together at the end taking a photo. But again, thank you to Parks and Rec. They did a great job organizing the Stomp Out Suicide and helping raise awareness so we can reduce that stigma. And then the last item I would like to address is the concurrency law. Back in 1970s and 80s, there was a concurrency law. Basically, it was around in the 70s and 80s, and they discontinued it in 2009, and didn't, so what it states, and I might need some help on this, is back previously, construction for, so for the infrastructure within a community or new development, all of the infrastructure has to be built. The roads have to be built, the water needs to come in, the sewer, all of the lines have to be prepared and built. All the infrastructure needs to be put in within the development. Back with the concurrency, it also discussed that the road improvements and transportation outside of the community had to be built concurrently at the same time as the development was being put in. So the improvements on the outside, the lights on the outside the development, had to be constructed at the time the development was constructed, not 10 years later or anything like that. Back in 2009, it was discontinued because they were trying to encourage growth. I would like to see if we can, this was originally Florida statute, but if the county can implement some kind of concurrency growth law to help make sure that our roads are being, and the infrastructure is being built at the same time as the new development.
County Attorney.
And it'll slow down growth.
Let me try and unpack some of that. So in 2009, transportation facilities were a mandatory concurrency item for all counties within the state of Florida. So and there was a state rule on it. Certain things could be taken into account with regard to, so if a road was in your CIP, it could be counted because, or in DOT's CIP, it could be counted. So development back in 2009 had to be, quote, concurrent before the board could approve it. From 2010 on, concurrency is regarding transportation facilities got weaker and weaker. Some of you may recall we used to have a thing called proportionate share, which allowed you to, quote, pay and go your proportionate share. At some point in time, the legislature basically said that the proportionate share was going to be less than the impact fees you were collecting on the individual houses. That was the point in time where Pasco County abandoned transportation concurrency. The problem is that without an amendment to the state concurrency law, I think you're still back in that situation where you have to observe 163-3180. Transportation is not one of the mandatory concurrency items. We can look at it, but I think the conclusion that we came to back in 15, 14, 13, it's close.
Yes, for me.
Was that when we adopted mobility fees that was the best you could do. And the legislature hasn't changed that.
So, Madam Chair?
Yeah?
Just a question, just a follow-up question too. Since we have the mobility fees, obviously, now, wouldn't this be more part of, the team's kind of job with the development agreement, what comes forward to make sure the infrastructure is in place to be able to handle the traffic that is incurred because of a development, whether it be a housing or industrial, wherever it may be. That should, it's kind of what we're supposed to be doing.
Mobility fees are designed to pay for the capital improvements program of the county, which is supposed to account for growth. Yes.
Right. That's, I know you said a shorter version than I did, but thank you.
So what I've heard from our former county administrator, well, first comes the communities, and the road infrastructure is always 10 years behind. But this way, it would help keep the road infrastructure caught up because they would be making the improvements outside of the development at the same time they're constructing their new development. Instead of being 10 years behind on infrastructure, we can have our roads grow with our developments, and it will help with our growth to reduce the burden on our citizens and the traffic congestion on the roads. So I would like to see something to help bring it back, whether we have to work with legislature or what we need to do.
Well, I think you just put a halt to everything, because where's that money coming from?
The developer.
They're doing their stuff, but for us to catch up with our road plan.
It wasn't, who was responsible for, so wouldn't the developer have to help? They would have to be paying someone to build and make those improvements at the same time of their development.
He didn't get the funds to pay for that road until he sells the homes in that development.
Then your mobility.
That's where the money comes from.
So you had to find a way to front the money, right? So that'd be, listen, this commission, it's a great conversation. It's just, you just have to find that. So what's the resource? Where are the funds going to come from to build that infrastructure? If the mobility fees are supposed to account for the transportation improvements or just infrastructure in general, how would you get ahead of it? So that's the question to ask, or maybe to try to find out. How would you get those funds ahead of time, right? I mean, you would have to borrow a bond. I don't know. There's multiple ways you would have to.
Do we have any mobility fees that currently set aside for future that we could start getting ahead on projects that haven't been utilized? Or can we request funds from legislature or somewhere to jumpstart our infrastructure? Because that was one of the things recently that has been, I don't want to say the governor, but they were working on infrastructure was a big priority during the last session, and being able to jumpstart the infrastructure to make sure the community's set up before everyone comes.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
So State Road 56 is a great example, right? If you look at State Road 56, that's a good example of what you're talking about. And that was a very unique situation where Speaker Weatherford was able to, get the appropriation for the first, or get the funds, and with appropriation, he got it funded through FDOT.
And we did that loan thing.
Yeah, and then we did something very unique that hadn't been done in really the state of Florida again, ever. And I won't get into the weeds too much, but a lot of us worked very closely on that, obviously. And yes, you're right, landowners actually agreed to pay for those 2 lanes, but we also took out, it was an SIB loan through the SIB, right? SIB loan through the state, through Florida Department of Transportation. We took the loan out as a county, and those landowners, which in turn a lot of them turned to developers, are the ones paying us back. So something like that has been done, and that's a great example.
And State Road
I mean, that's a
56 is
P3.
great
Yes.
because it's never congested.
Right.
It's
So
ahead
the
of
road was
time.
built, the road was built, and then came your development. Your homes came after. That's a good example. So how do you do that? And this is a good conversation. So how do you do that going forward, right? Or are the players willing to, get in the game?
Some of the players, I saw Claude Cobby, and I'm going to use Plath Road Development as an example, is they were willing to prepay their $25 million of mobility fees. So if the developers are willing to prepay their mobility fees, then we or them or whoever needs to construct it can start constructing the improvements at the same time the development comes in.
Obviously, they had cash on hand available, which most don't have the cash on hand. Mike or Mr. Sticer jump in.
No, especially.
They won't have that
at the
cash
borrowing
upfront, unless they
cost
want to
of
borrow.
today.
Yeah, I mean, unless
Or
they
maybe we could
bond it
start-
themselves or borrow it.
Start our own fund bank that we use additional funds. I don't know how much is in.
I think, and I like your ideas and your thoughts, obviously we want to make sure we have the proper infrastructure. So I think this would be a long conversation to work through, and the team to work through with you and whoever else. But you got to watch out for, like Mr. Steinstein was talking about, certain statutes or laws within the state, and what we're allowed to do and not allowed to do with the legislature, and you don't want to get yourself in a hot seat either. That's just my opinion.
And 56, there was no real road there.
Correct.
So that's what brought those landowners to the table, was they couldn't change from an ag classification to housing unless they had the infrastructure there, because there was no reason to change the future land use.
Correct.
If it's an already developed area, it's much harder to do that.
Right. Because now you're asking the person, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but now you're asking this possible landowner or possible developer to pay for infrastructure that may not benefit just their development and numerous other developments as well, right?
Wouldn't they technically, in essence, already be paying those same fees through mobility fees?
It all depends on what type of development it is.
And that's where-
And whether they're paying 100% of the cost for development or not. So you have many categories, putting aside residential, you've got many categories that we subsidize the fees.
Yeah, credits.
And I don't believe David, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe we're at 100% even on single family. So your mobility fees don't pay for 100% of the infrastructure's costs.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yep.
56 was a great plan, and it worked out in the situation we had to build a road where there was no road before. And it was the best thing to do at the time, to build 4 lanes rather than just 2, and then be struggling to get the other 2 lanes in later. But it also, by speeding that up, it also created an issue at 301 where people are fussing now because so much traffic is hitting 301, a 2-lane road, going to Tampa or coming back. There's so much traffic now, and their DOT is not ready to implement the funding and all that for 301, which needs to be in now, really. So,
But
it's
it'll come.
It's delayed, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still would rather have built 56 the way we did. My only
Yeah, I do
regret
too.
is that that horse left the barn before I got the majority of landowners together, because I had quite a few willing landowners who were going to talk about the trail. I knew I was going to say the trail. Because if they had donated, if we had been able to get 10 or 15 feet more from the front of those, on the frontage of 56, that trail could have gotten off being a sidewalk, really, and been kind of wandered through some of the trees. Maybe it could have gone more into where a commercial area was going to be. It could have been a real asset for that road, and instead it's really just a boring, wide sidewalk going straight down State Road 56, and it could have had some shade on it. But unfortunately, the engineer had already started laying out, and they didn't want to go back. So instead of being a real asset, they ended up with vanilla land, whatever.
So
No vision.
This is gonna be a long conversation.
speaking about growth,
Maybe take a workshop or two.
move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just,
Commissioner, how much more do you have? Because it's 5 after 12.
oh, like 30 seconds for this?
30 seconds, then we'll move on.
So speaking about development, growth, I think it's really important, and I don't know if I received the spreadsheet yet, but if we know the developments that are currently under construction, and then we can get an estimated completion date, and then an occupancy or capacity, expected capacity rate, then we can know, okay, we're gonna have 1,000 new people on 2023, and by then we can start planning for law enforcement, public safety, and other concerns that, okay, if we know that we need 2 law enforcement officers for every 1,000, and that new development is expected to be completed on this date, then we know how many law enforcement. So it would be a better planning in the long run and in the future for public safety and other areas that are expected to grow, so we know in advance how many new people are coming in at what date. And then I will discuss my opioid project at the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so Commissioner Mariano, we're going to go ahead
Yeah,
and...
we'll have to carry it.
What?
We'll have to wait this afternoon.
Yeah, we'll have to wait till this afternoon, if that's okay? I have some important things too. All right, we'll adjourn for lunch.
And wildlife depend on you to keep them healthy. Excess fertilizer